Welcome to MKD Education. I, Ansuman Jena. Now in this class, we are going to study a part of engineering mechanics in which we will discuss the various geometrical methods to find the resultant of various forces applied at a point. In this class, we will discuss about the graphical method to find the resultant of a number of forces. Now, as we know that the resultant of a number of forces can be found geometrically. Now, this is applicable by applying the triangle law and polygon law. So, triangle law gives the resultant of two forces acting simultaneously on a point, and polygon law gives the resultant of a number of forces acting at a point. And in this class, we will also discuss about moment, and moment is nothing but the product of force and the perpendicular distance between the body and the point about which the moment is required to be found. So at the end of the class, you will be able to know the graphical method to find the resultant of two or any number of forces, and you will also get an idea of the concept of moment, its units, and also its application in various engineering fields. So let us come to the triangle law first. So this is a very important concept for in engineering mechanics, and this is applied to the case in which only two forces are there and we are required to find their resultant. And one more thing is that the two forces should be coplanar. Now here are some keywords which are being used here, which shall be discussed for in order to go further. So the words are, first is your coplanar. First is coplanar. Now already these things have been discussed in the previous classes. What do you mean by coplanar forces? So the forces which are acting at a point. Acting at a plane, not point, acting at a plane. So the triangle law states that if two coplanar forces acting simultaneously on a particle at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle taken in order. Now one more thing that is need to be explained here is order. What do you mean by order? So order here means the direction, so which can be of two types only. Either it will be clockwise or it will be anti-clockwise. Either it will be clockwise or it will be anti-clockwise. So what do you mean by clockwise? The direction in which the clock rotates is known as clockwise direction, and the direction in which opposite of the clock is known as anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction. Now now let us see how the triangle law is represented here. See, it is told that if two coplanar forces acting simultaneously on a particle at a point be represented in magnitude and direction by the two sides of a triangle taken in order. Now let O be a point where two forces are acting, and let the two forces be P and Q. Let the two forces be P and Q. Now I have already given the order which we have discussed here. That is, I have taken these two forces in a anti-clockwise direction. Now the resultant may be represented in magnitude and direction by the third side of the triangle taken in opposite order. Now you see, we have represented the two forces which are acting in an anti-clockwise direction. So the resultant will be the third side or the closing side of the triangle taken in opposite order. That means if the order is anti-clockwise, the resultant order will be clockwise. So this will be the resultant. So I think you have got the idea about the triangle law. Now next we will go to the polygon law of forces. Now why we are going to polygon law of forces? That is most important thing that you should understand first. So in triangle law, the problem is that we can find the resultant of only two forces. But in polygon law, we can find the resultant of a number of forces. That is the major difference and the advantage that the polygon law have above the triangle law. Now, the polygon law states that if a number of coplanar forces, again we have discussed about coplanar forces, I think all of you must have the concept of coplanar forces, acting simultaneously at a point on a particle be represented in magnitude and direction by the sides of a polygon taken in order, then the resultant of all these forces may be represented in magnitude and direction by the closing side of the polygon but taken in opposite order. Now, to understand the concept, let us come to the blackboard. See, it is being told that if a number of coplanar forces are acting simultaneously at a point on a particle and they are represented in magnitude and direction by the sides of the polygon taken in order. Now let us see. Now here I have taken a polygon where 4 forces are being represented by 4 sides of a polygon. Let the forces be P, Q, R and S. Now you see the order is in clockwise direction. So the resultant of these forces will be in anti-clockwise direction and it will be the closing side of the polygon. So this will be the order of the resultant. Let the resultant be F1. Now see, we can apply triangle law on the polygon law. If I join these 2 points, now we can see that P and Q are the 2 sides of a triangle and the forces are in an order, that means in clockwise order. So its resultant will be the 3rd side of the triangle and it will be in opposite order. Let this resultant be F2. Now if I join here, if I join this line, then F2 and R, these are the 2 forces which are being represented by the sides of the triangle. Then the direction is again clockwise. So this will be the resultant because this is the closing side of the triangle and its direction will be just the opposite. So I represent the resultant by F3. Now again the last triangle. You see F3 and force S are the 2 forces which are represented by the 2 sides of a triangle. So automatically this F1 will be the resultant and its direction will be opposite to the direction of the 2 forces. So this is about the polygon law, and we have seen that the triangle law is completely satisfied in this polygon law. Okay. Next we'll go to moment. So before going to moment, we should understand what is actually moment. So moment is nothing but the product of force and the distance between the point about which the moment is required to be found. So for example, you see I am holding a pen and I am holding it at its tip. So that the pen is in hinged position. That means it can just move up and down. So if I apply a force here, then the moment will be nothing but the magnitude of this force multiplied by the distance at which the force is applied from this point. So let us see what is the definition of moment. So moment is the turning tendency of a body and is calculated by the product of magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance of the line of action of the force from a point where the body turns or tends to turn. Now let us understand what is moment first. What is moment first? Now see, we will discuss what is moment. Now, moment is the turning tendency of a body and is calculated by the product of magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance of the line of action of the force from a point where the body turns or tends to turn. Now, moment is, we have already discussed what is moment, we have already read. So see here, let a point be O about which moment is required to be found. Okay. Now, a force is acting over the body at a point P, and the magnitude of the force, let it be F, and the distance between the point of application of force and the point about which the moment is found, let it be L. Okay. Now, according to the definition, the moment M will be the product of force into the and the perpendicular distance between the point of application of the force and the point about which the moment is required to be found. Now, with the definition of moment, another important thing is that the unit of moment. That is very, very important thing, and in most of the exams you will get a question from what is the unit, question like what is the unit of moment. Now see, let us discuss what are the units of moment. Units of moment. Now, as we know that moment is equal to force into perpendicular distance, and the SI unit of force is Newton. So in SI unit, the unit of moment will be Newton into meter. In SI unit, the unit of length is meter. So in SI, the unit of moment will be Newton meter. And in CGS, that means centimeter, gram and second unit, the unit of moment will be dyne into centimeter. Dyne is the unit of force in CGS and centimeter is the unit of length in CGS. So these two are the units that you are going to use in moment. Also, in some cases, the distance is given in millimeter. So in that case, the unit will be Newton millimeter. Okay. Now this is about the unit of moment. Now we will discuss the types of moment. What are the different types of moment? So generally moment is classified into two types. One is called clockwise movement and another one is called anti-clockwise movement. So first let us understand what is clockwise movement with an example. Now I am drawing the same figure. The point is O about which we are required to find the moment of a body where the force is applied at a point P and the distance between them is L. Now, clockwise movement means the force is applied such that the body is able to move about point O in a clockwise direction. So, here we can see that if I hinge the body at point O, then and force is applied at this end, so this body will rotate in a clockwise direction. So, this is an example of clockwise movement. Now, this anti-clockwise movement, again I am drawing the same figure, but here the direction of force will just be the opposite. So let the force be applied in from below the body. So, and the distance is the same, that is L. Now we can see that if we hinge the body at point O, then this force will move the body in an anti-clockwise direction, that is the direction opposite to the motion of the clock. So this will represent the anti-clockwise movement. Okay, so these two things are very important. Now we'll see what is the sign convention used in movement. That is also one of the most very important thing. That is the sign convention in movement. So in various books different concepts are given, but you take movement according to your wish. The direction of movement you take according to your wish, and you can also take the sign according to your wish. So sign convention in movement. So see, if you take the movement, if you take the movement in anti-clockwise direction, you can take it as positive, and if the movement is in clockwise direction, you can take it negative. You can use this sign convention according to your wish. You can also take anti-clockwise as negative and clockwise as positive according to your wish. But if you take this as positive and anti-clockwise as positive, you should take it as negative, or else you cannot solve the problem. You will not be able to solve the problem. Now, what are the key points that we have learned today? First is the triangle law, which gives the resultant of two forces by graphical method. Second is the polygon law, which states the resultant of any number of forces by, again, graphical method. And one more thing, if the polygon will be closed due to the forces represented in order, then the resultant is always zero. What do you mean by this? Let us see. This is a very important point. Let us see what you mean by this. Now, this point tells that if you represent the forces, all the forces taken in order, so that P, Q, R, S, T, all these forces are in order and acting over a polygon. So here the resultant will be 0. In this case, the resultant will be 0. Next, we know in this class we have also studied that moment, how it is calculated. It is the product of magnitude of the force and the perpendicular distance. Now we'll discuss various important questions from the exam point of view. So first question is state and prove triangle law of forces. That is already has been discussed in the class. State polygon law of forces, discussed in the class. Define moment of a force. We have already explained that moment is nothing but the product of force and the perpendicular distance of the body at a point where moment is required to be found. And the last one, that is very important question, what is the unit of moment? As we have already discussed that the unit of moment in SI is Newton meter and in CGS is dyne centimeter. So that's all for today. Thank you.